look man, check it out. I just don't see either one of us budging, so if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, in one moment, would you capture it, or just let it slip? I was gonna go easy on you not to hurt your feelings, but I'm only going to get this one chance. Something's wrong, I can feel it, it's just a feeling I've got, like something's about to happen, but I don't know what. If that means what I think it means, we're in trouble, big trouble, and if he is as the man he says he is, I'm not taking any chances. You were just what the doctor ordered, it's my life. In my own words, I guess there's going to be some stuff you're going to see that's going to make it hard to smile in the future, but through whatever you see, through all the rain and the pain, you gotta keep your sense of humor. You gotta be able to smile through all this bullshit, and I know sometimes you just feel tired, you feel weak. When you feel weak, you feel like you just want to give up, but you gotta search within you, try and find that inner strength and just pull that shit out of you and get that motivation not to give up and not be a quitter no matter how bad you want to just fall flat on your face. And I know that lately I've been hard to reach, I've been too long on my own, but everybody has a private world where they can be alone. Are you calling me? Are you trying to get through? Are you reaching out for me, like I'm reaching out for you? Cause I know sometimes things may not always make sense to you right now, but hey, what I always tell you, straighten up little soldier, what you crying about? You got me, it's been a ride, I had to go to that place to get to this one. Now if you still are in that place, and if you're trying to get out, just follow me, I'll get you there. Why are you looking puzzled, in a daze? I know it's confusing you, daddy's always on the move. I can be a prick, if you tempt me, my tank is on empty, I'll nail their coffin, I'm going to tell them where to go. If there should ever come a time where my life's in a rut and I look like I might just give up, hey, thanks to you, I'm living life in the fast lane, moving at the speed of life. I can't slow down, I only got a gallon in the gas tank, I'm so hidden and you're never going to see. I'm cold, forgiven all because of my beliefs, and I've had it, I'm too strong, I have wept for too long, for too many years, and I ain't talking about you cats that try and beat em in battles. My father told me when he was just a little boy, he was looking out his bedroom window late one night to see a shooting star, and he had made a wish, said a prayer before going to sleep, then had this vision that came to him. He was walking in this field and looked up to see this spaceship slowly hovering over everything for as far as he could see. He had turned to run from out of fright as he was going through this chain link fence, when all of a sudden he woke up and ran to his father to tell him of this dream that he had. That his father told him to take a walk with him along the beach. He had said to me, my son, if you take a look behind you to notice there are two different sets of footprints in the sand that only ends with one set of footprints. That's because for the times you feel like giving up, I will pick you up and carry you. When you see the sun set, a new beginning and time for the sun to rise, just remember a star can't shine without the darkness. If you see someone falling from the sky and he says that he can fly, when you see him slowly returning to the earth and he starts to walk on water to land, you ask me, did he die? I tell you no, my son. Then you turn to ask me why. I tell you because my son, it just wasn't his time. For that's only in God's hands. The New York Times printed a photograph that had been taken by Associated Press with the photographer the previous day, so did newspapers all over the country. It showed a man who, having jumped from one of the burning World Trade Center towers, was falling through the air to the pavement, and acrobatics of death. An estimated 7% of those who were murdered on 9/11 died by jumping. There is ample photographic documentation, taken by various witnesses from various angles, of this horrific phenomenon. The Times never ran the photograph, or anything like it, ever again, neither did most other American papers. Indeed, photographs of the so-called jumpers have been rendered taboo, vilified as an insult to the dead and an unbearably brutal shock to the living, though they have been printed abroad, and can be found on the internet, and journalists who have tried to identify the falling, dying man. I look to the sky and pray for a better day, somehow some way, maybe one day I'll be heard, and God will answer every word, and let me fly, in the sky, as an angel like a bird, and set me free, releasing all this pain that has ever came to me. Don't get me wrong, there's no one else to blame but me, it's too plain to see, it's what I now realize and see, what's changed me for me, and let me be this better me for the better me, to see myself to be, this one and only lost and lonely, soul to be whole, cause never again will I fall in this hole, and not think it will all change in just a blink of an eye, cause just think it could have happened to you or I, so who am I and so what if I have told a lie? At least I still stand here and try to ask for your forgiveness, cause you're not the one that has to live this life that I live, let alone, is it any of your business, but you're still here, ready to help us conquer our most biggest fears that we fear, like death, and is it near, and is there anything left for me to fear? Cause just thinking about it brings a tear from my eye, down my face, cause I'm ready to do whatever it takes to believe that there's a better place than this. I can barely stand this, or put up with this life that I live. Just try to forgive, and look past all the bad that I did. In my past, I know what I did was wrong, so here I ask for you to forgive me. I'm sorry, please forgive me, but this soul can't shed another tear, or hide from another fear. Cause it knows the end is near, it's done all it could to try and make it, but this soul just can't take it or put up with it for another minute to try and make it work. The pain, the hurt, the time, the work, the tears wiped from the shirt, from this broken heart stomped in the dirt, walked on, spit on, put down from all the doubt, alone, lost and scared to shout, to let these true feelings come out, not knowing how or where to begin to start to express the feelings from this heart that's slowly starting to fall apart, bit by bit, piece by piece, tear by tear. The end is near, but this soul has no fear of the end. It faces death and hopes for the best. It's realized its wrongs and has already confessed, asked for forgiveness, and to please just let this pain come to rest. This is a public service announcement brought to you in part by Slim Shady. The views and events expressed here are totally fucked and are not necessarily the views of anyone. However, the events and suggestions that appear on this album are not to be taken lightly. Children should not partake in the listening in this album with laces in their shoes. Slim Shady is not responsible for your actions upon purchasing this album. You have agreed not to try this at home. Anything else? The President and the Press, address before the American Newspaper Publishers of their Association, in April 27, 1961. President John F. Kennedy, Waldorf Astoria Hotel, New York City, April 27, 1961. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate very much your generous invitation to be here tonight. You bear heavy responsibilities these days, and an article one read some time ago reminded me of how particularly heavily the burdens of present-day events bear upon your profession. You may remember that in 1851 the New York Herald Tribune, under the sponsorship and publishing of Horace Greeley, employed as its London correspondent an obscure journalist by the name of Karl Marx. We are told that foreign correspondent Marx, stone-broke and with a family ill and undernourished, constantly appealed to Greeley and managing editor for an increase in his munificent salary of $5 per installment, a salary which he and Engels ungratefully labeled as the lousiest petty bourgeois cheating. But when all his financial appeals were refused, Marx looked around for other means of livelihood and fame, eventually terminating his relationship with the Tribune and devoting his talents full-time to the cause that would bequeath the world the seeds of Leninism, Stalinism, revolution and the Cold War. If only this capitalistic New York newspaper had treated him more kindly, if only Marx had remained a foreign correspondent, history might have been different, and I hope all publishers will bear this lesson in mind the next time they receive a poverty-stricken appeal for a small increase in the expense account from an obscure newspaper man.
About our common responsibilities in the face of a common danger. The events of recent weeks may have helped to illuminate that challenge for some, but the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security. A challenge that confronts us in unaccustomed ways in every sphere of human activity. This deadly challenge imposes upon our society two requirements of direct concern, both to the press and to the President. Two requirements that may seem almost contradictory in tone, but which must be reconciled and fulfilled if we are to meet this national peril. I refer first to the need for far greater public information, and second, to the need for far greater official secrecy. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.